Well, hello and welcome to the latest video locations blog from Glass Bullet Pictures. Now, I was going to say this was a much kind of easier, more comfortable location that we're looking at today, because here I am in my business suit, because we're actually filming from Buko Studios, where Glass Bullet is actually based. However, this whole area is covered in dead flies, so I'm not really kind of getting a good vibe from that. But anyway, we're actually on floor 5 of the tower in which we're actually based at Buko. And we made extensive use of this in the Prey Specimen Red. In fact, when you see the film, you actually recognise this as Stacey's cell, and also the cell where the boy stranger is brought. And the two agents, Agent Romanovich and also Cameron, they actually carry out their investigations in this very room, which is a big part of the plot, is basically the agents investigating Stacey and then trying to find out where Stacey has actually come from. Because in the Specimen Red sequences, we basically create a government establishment where the security services have been keeping a time machine under surveillance for 100 years. And on the face of it, not much has happened, but suddenly out of nowhere comes this young woman and a boy, and she's trying to kill the boy. And these agents are brought in to basically find out, what the hell is going on. It looks as if the time machine actually works. And this woman tells them she's come 100 years from the future, and she has to kill this boy because he's going to grow up into this incredibly megalomaniac, evil character who's going to destroy the universe and also destroy time itself. So we use this area as a cell. So sometimes industrial complexes can actually be quite interesting from a location's point of view, even ones which on the face of it probably seem quite dull. I mean, the place where Glass Bullet is actually based, it was actually designed and built in the 1970s, and it was opened as a manufacturing plant for a company that made shopping trolleys, hence the name. We moved into the tower block when it was turned into a business centre, and we have a lovely office, which is not all kind of dark and gloomy like this, and we also have a kind of media space where we have a rostrum, and we kind of shoot product videos and that kind of stuff. But after Legend, when we came to revisit the Prey and to see if we could basically reboot it and finish it off, one thing I did as the writer-director, I actually looked around this complex and thought, well, how can we make use of it? We made use of a very large shed. The whole area has industrial units which are the size of aircraft hangars. There's an awful lot of talk at the moment about, Scottish film studios. In essence, we have a Scottish film studio. We have access to 314,000 square feet of space and possibly more. And we made extensive use of that in the Prey Specimen Red in terms of building a set. We had lots of actors coming through, we had a car driving through. So from that point of view, it was absolutely fantastic. This more intimate space, which is all kind of brickwork, we used as the kind of holding centres for the main characters. We also used other spaces within the building. We used some office spaces which we used as existing offices, and in some cases we also kind of dressed them also. So as I say, within the Prey, we also made extensive use of the lift here. We made extensive use of the foyer and the large areas of the complex. And as you watch the film, you'll see how we incorporated these elements into the actual film. So the actual exteriors of the intelligence base, we actually used a radar station at Balado, and we got some fantastic aerial shots of that. But we didn't actually film inside, which is another complete story. What we did was we actually did all the interiors here at Buko, and then basically intercut between the two locations, and hopefully they work pretty well. So in terms of locations and whatever kind of movie you're planning, do look around where you're actually based. It's very possible that on the face of it your surroundings might actually be quite boring, and you might be thinking, well, how can I actually make use of these locations? But with a bit of inventiveness, it's actually quite amazing what you can do. I even think back to my early films back in the 80s when I first started off as a filmmaker. Very often, if you've got a room in your house or a basement or an attic, just with a torch or a candle, you can actually create some really amazing kind of atmospheric kind of effects. So again, in terms of kit, I'm using the Sennheiser wireless microphone system, which is great for these kind of possibilities, the Canon XF100, and very important in this particular case is an LED movie light, and hopefully illumination is quite good. We previously used that when we were filming in the caves. So anyway, a wee insight there into Buko Studios and what we do. We'll certainly be using our studio a lot more in our next production, Cadaver Man, in which we're actually basically going to create a kind of scientist laboratory from the Victorian era, where the main character imagines himself to have been created. James Whale has been a big influence in that particular movie, so within the nightmare sequences we're hoping to kind of delve back into what Universal Pictures was doing way back in the 30s with the original Frankenstein movies, and we're going to do all that here at Buko Studios. So anyway, hope you've enjoyed the blog, and I'll catch up with you quite soon for another one.